Hi, this is Billie Beene here with another segment of Truth by Billie Beene. Today's date is September 28, 2022. Special report, new. This is a new YouTube channel for me. I have a subscribe button in the lower right corner of my screen. Thanks for like, subscribe, and share. Episode 420, World War III. The U.S. government dissolve. Russia and China prep for war, and N1 and N2. So some of my sources on this are God in the Bible, Patriot Subscriber, Scott Ritter, Dr. William Mount, Charlie Ward, Simon Parkes, some Hal Turner, a Michael Shellenberger, 107, David Nino Rodriquez, Judy Byington, plus. So let's get started. The world seems to be turned upside down, doesn't it? Things are going on that we find very strange. Okay, I have a Patriot Subscriber. No news from China means something is happening. And President Trump is taunting the deep state. He's posting the 17th letter of the alphabet and wearing a pin. We are in the storm, and citing Aija, A-I-J-A, amid a paper that's reporting today, 9/27, the global good is winning. Okay, I have a Patriot Subscriber who says Simon Quayle, who's on TV, America's Has Talent, says that Chairman Z is in protective custody because the CCP wanted to assassinate him. Judy Byington is saying there's a coup in China, a double coup, and that a double of Chairman Z is under house arrest, and the real Chairman Z is under protective custody, as is the real President Trump. Okay, now Charlie Ward is reporting and I had in previous videos said in the near future in England and in Germany. Germany's martial law is coming October 1. And now in England, so Charlie Ward is reporting like 20 hotels are filled up with UN troops inside London. And this is to bring on martial law. So we've got this going on. And there may be some things going on inside the U.S. also. So we'll have to find out about that. Now, from Steve Quayle, okay. So Washington Times on 9/26 is reporting this. This would have been, here's the Canada. Here's Alaska. You know, we've got some islands going out. We have Russia over here. We recall Sarah Palin saying, "Oh, I have international experience because from my back porch in Alaska, I could see Russia." Okay, we have the Washington Times reporting a U.S. Coast Guard on Monday, the Kimball reported in the Bering Sea in this area between Russia and Alaska was a Chinese guided missile ship. Plus, it was in this area 86 miles off of Alaska's Kishka Island. So 86 miles from the United States, which is 138 kilometers. So on Monday, 86 miles or 138 kilometers from Kishka Island, part of the Alaskan island chain, we had two Chinese naval ships, and we had 4 Russian naval ships, including a destroyer, and they were in a single formation. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Chinese and Russian naval ships, 86 miles from our Alaskan coastline in a single formation. So that happened on Monday. Now let's get to what is Poland saying, which is very bizarre. And we have to understand that on both sides, in the U.S., in China, in Russia, in other nations, we're dealing with two groups, white hats and the deep state. Now, I have a Patriot subscriber. It says, Poland congratulates the U.S. on blowing up the pipeline. That's Nordstrom 1 and 2. So now, we have this from, this is the Steve Quayle site, and then there was this article by a Michael Shellenberger, who's bringing this out, that congratulating, this is a former Polish Minister of Defense Minister. He was a defense minister in Poland 2005 to 2007. He's currently a member of European Parliament. So I would, based on what he's saying, classify him as deep state, because the statements he's making are posing security issues for Poland. Okay, so Radek Sikorski, thank you USA on Twitter, he says, for blowing up the Nordstrom 1 and 2 pipelines. And then the current Secretary of State of Poland, Stanislaw Yaren, denounces this statement by Sikorski, saying, you know, it poses a security threat to Poland. Now, just recently, information and a map that came out from Dr. William Mount showed Poland was going to receive, Russia had agreed for Poland to receive a part of Ukraine that had traditionally had historically been a part of Poland, and the people there still practice the Polish culture and speak the Polish language. And President Putin and Russia had agreed for that to go back to Poland. So that's going on. Also, Romania is going to get a part, Hungary, Belarus. All right, that's going on. So we can see that the current Secretary of State of Poland says to Sikorski, we denounce your statement. Yeah, we didn't want the pipeline being blown up. Now, this is coming up. Let me draw this another map. So we had Russia, we have Finland, we have Sweden, we have Germany. Then we have those two pipelines, Nordstrom 1, and they were going by this little island that's a Danish island from Denmark, right here, going to, and we found out that Nordstrom 1 is actually two pipelines running parallel, and then Nordstrom 2 was new and I think they had not turned on the gas yet, but okay. So this makes 3 pipelines that were blown up. And so now this information is coming out that, this is from Hal Turner. And it's going to take several years and billions of dollars to repair. And the Ukraine propaganda, Russia did it right. Okay, it was designed by the deep state to destroy, well, one, against Russia propaganda, but basically to destroy Germany and Europe. The children in Europe and Germany come by December, according to Scott Ritter, Marine, former military analyst, are going to be freezing to death. And I had also been putting out information about this winter being the start of longer, earlier, colder winters based on the science-backed and other sources for an ice age to come in 2030. And now in 2022, the winters are going to be much colder. The deep state wants to destroy genetic lines, Ukraine and Russian, Slavic, inside Ukraine, and also destroy Germany and all of Europe. That's the deep state, who worship, we know, not God, but an evil entity. All right, so that's going on. So now what's coming out is the Kearsarge, which is a U.S. Amphibious ship, had been in this area of the island for 2 to 3 days before the blow up. Now, and in recent months, it had been in participating in NATO exercises in Finland, Sweden, Estonia, Lithuania. Okay. So, now this is what I think. I don't think the U.S. Corsage blew up the pipelines. I think that the deep state shadow U.S. government and the deep state shadow U.S. military, which we understand is as much as 30% of the U.S. military. This is what I believe. I believe they did have the Corsage in this area for 2 to 3 days before the pipelines were blown up as cover, and then to actually imply that the U.S. military blew up these pipelines to generate World War III, because the deep state wants that. All right. But a cover for some type of, our new term, private military company that had divers going there and set the explosives. I don't believe the U.S. military blew up the pipelines. I believe that the U.S. military Kearsarge amphibious ship could have been used as a cover. That's what I believe. All right, now we have 107. He was recently interviewed by David Nino Rodriquez. He's talking about the global instability, and what's going on in the U.S. is the U.S. government is dissolving. And it's going down. We know we have JB, who is an actor, and some sources had said we also have a clone recently, but that clone is actually, in the process of passing, is suffering dementia. Now, and then 107 brought up also the citizenship issues with this individual, which a majority of the American people who who are awake know about. So then, and then this individual is actually a double. The flesh and blood 80s individual is, last time I heard, she was in Greenland after being going through Gitmo. So yeah, so that's not real. But at any rate, this JB is in the process of fading, and now comes a possible use of the 25th Amendment. So what's taking shape for the 70%, according to Mel K, of the American people who are awake is we need to have a change. And we've recently heard about that Supreme Court, overturn the 2020 event. So that's going on. Now, what's happening because the U.S. government is dissolving, and there's question marks here, the Russians and China are preparing for war. This is a deep state generated war situation. Now, in Russia, we recently heard that they were calling up 300,000. And then we had Mike from around the world, who's regularly on Pastor Paul Begley's Thursday night program. We believe Mike works for the NSA. Mike knows stuff. Brought up that it was there was a clause to call up 1 million to 1.5 million, and 107 says that Russia is now calling up 1 million. So that's going on in Russia. Now, in China, we're hearing this bizarre statements about a coup, and then questions about where is Z. I noticed that the mainstream media outlet WWIII out of India this morning said, oh, yeah, we've got a video showing Z since his return from that SCO meeting. That was like September 24, and that's when he returned to China, and we understood this some kind of coup could have taken place. And WION said, yeah, we've got a video showing Z since its return from the SCO meeting 9/24, but then it disappeared. It went away. It's not on there. So we have China and Russia doing some type of activities that we believe is a response to the instability and question marks of what's going on in the United States government. Now, the Patriot subscriber says the alliance should now be called the Galactic Alliance. Okay, we haven't heard that. Patriot subscriber, the Supreme Court overturned the 2020 President Trump back in October. 120 days later, we'll have new elections. Well, that would fit in with my previous video about no midterms. So we have President Trump back. We have 120 days new elections. Yeah, and that fits in with that information we had. Okay, we have Simon Parkes saying President Trump back in October. So, yeah, we're right up here on October, aren't we? So we see that things are going on in the world, and there are question marks, definitely with the U.S. government. And different scenarios are being put forth, but it looks reliably as if President Trump is going to be back in October, and we'll have new elections going forward in 120 days. So we're looking forward to this and the other things that we understand are going to accompany President Trump's return. Nasara Jasara, a new economic system on the quantum financial system on a global basis that fits right in with the BRICS and other groups that are moving to banking systems backed by gold and silver, taking down of the deep state and mass arrests going on. And we say, bring it, Father. So I wanted to bring out these different items that are happening, particularly the statement by a former Polish government official thanking the U.S. for blowing up Nordstrom 1 and 2. I do not believe that the U.S. Military and government blew up Nordstrom 1 and 2, the pipelines that were going to deliver gas and natural gas and energy to Germany and other parts of Europe. I do believe that misinformation is being put forth, implying that the U.S. military was behind the blowing up of the Nordstrom 1 and 2 pipelines. I do not accept that, and I've presented a reasonable scenario here refuting that evidence. And I would agree with the Secretary of State of Poland that the former Defense Minister Sikorski's statement poses a threat to the security of Poland, absolutely. And I presented that it's very likely Poland is going to gain from Russia a former part of Poland from Ukraine. So the Polish government would be aligned with Russia. So we certainly need now know what we need to be praying for, and then the instability inside the U.S. And do we believe that Hurricane Ian just happened, or was that a deep state move against the United States? So let's be in prayer, definitely for people in Florida and for the U.S. and Russia and China and all nations across the world. We want peace and prosperity for all. I love you, and I'll see you soon.